the opera. Yeah, yeah. Well, it needs. Hey, Marion.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome from the Limerick Writers Centre, the Western Writers Centre and the Belltable to our special fundraising show on behalf of the Limerick Writers Centre. It's in two halves, and in the first half we have a reading about Oscar Wilde and his family. The talk is presented by Gerry Hanberry, whose recent book, More Lives Than One, forms the basis of the talk. And after the talk, and just before the interval, Fergus Costello, who was a finalist in the All-Ireland Poetry Slam and a recent Viva Voce winner at the AIC Michael Hartnett, will regale you with his unique take on what it means to be Irish in modern Ireland. But before all that, a brief word from Dominic Taylor of the Limerick Writers Centre. Dominic.
And thanks for everybody coming here tonight. I just want to say a little bit about the Limerick Writers Centre for anybody who doesn't know us and what our aims are and what we do. We were founded as a non-profit organisation in 2009, and our reason is to support and promote writers from or living in Limerick through readings, workshops and publishing activities. Through our writers' groups, the Limerick Writers Centre provides a venue where writers can meet and discuss their work and gather support from their peers. At our monthly flagship public reading, On the Nail, we provide an opportunity for those writers to read their work in public and get valuable feedback. Our publishing activities have yielded not just valuable revenue for the Centre, but also brought us in contact with a lot of people and organisations who continue to be of great benefit to our members. Ultimately, the Limerick Writers Centre seeks to provide an accessible venue where writers in all codes can meet with a creative or educational purpose, and where outreach programmes can work in our schools and communities to foster a spirit of creative invention. We also seek closer involvement with existing literary organisations and events in order to promote Limerick's creative excellence in the greater world. As I said, I thank you for coming here tonight and supporting us, not just by buying a ticket, but by your presence here. We are heartened that what we do on a voluntary basis is appreciated and recognised in some small way. Finally, I would like to thank our performers here tonight, who gave up their time free of charge to support the event, and also the management of the Belltable, who facilitated the use of the theatre. Thank you very much. So a big round of applause for Gerry Hanberry.
The overarching theme of this evening's talk is identity and how we define ourselves. And what more appropriate person, and indeed family, could we select as a way of exploring this very relevant theme other than Oscar Wilde himself and his brilliant, if somewhat eccentric and triumphant and tragic family, the Wilde family, because they were tragic and triumphant and eccentric. So there he is, that's Oscar. And this talk is based, as it has been said, on my recently published book from the Collins Press, More Lives Than One. More lives, that's a line from Ballad of Reading Gaol. He who lives more lives than one, more deaths than one must die. And poor Oscar certainly died more deaths than one. And so we'll talk about his father, William Wilde.
Gerry Hanberry. Now, Fergus Costello will give us a little rendition.
How are you doing? I know you're all mad to get out for a break, but anyway, this piece I wrote originally as a song, but I don't do it as a song anymore. Some of you have heard it, but hey, it's worth going the second time. It's called Conversation with a Vampire. In the year 2002, I was living alone in cold, freezing, rented accommodation, waking up in the middle of the night, freezing cold all on my own, and contemplating living for the rest of my life in cold, freezing, rented accommodation. So I went into my bank and I said, any chance of a small mortgage for a small house with maybe a small shed out the back? We don't do things like that, he said. We only do big mortgages for 2 or more big F-off houses. Use your head, he said. Think like a banker. Get 20 beds, throw them into a house with 20 Polish fellas and 20 of their sisters. They'll pay the mortgage for you. Use your head, he said.
So I'm going to begin with a poem called Achor Sáil. So I've got some poems, all my poems are in Irish, but some are translated to English and some are translated to French. And this one, you're going to have to work it out. So Achor Sáil means recycling, and it's about recycling your meadi, my clothes, and then mochrikin, my skin, I'm going to shed that, and I recycle that, and then mochnava, my bones, and I break them up into tiny little pieces so I can get them into the recycling depot. And then mochid organ, my organs, including the heart, I mash that up into a tasty puree, and I recycle that as well. And at the end of the poem I say it's not for preservation, nu, but rather it's for avunlu, a remodeling, so that it can be made into a nice, simple, shiny doll. Asquager douche and Shinats Frankish. Achor Sáil. Ag siúldam lá, stopis go puintalhe, ag unad achor sáile. Meadi, gwynis diam, istacha istach san orhach. Mochrikin, squealis diam, shavan ganusade.
Because I haven't been writing in English for quite some time. But, well, I've started back recently, but I won't go on too much about it. And after that, I'm going to play a little song, which is in Middle French or Old French, and it dates to roughly the 12th century. And don't worry, it's only 2 verses. Well, there are actually 14 verses, but I'm just going to do 2. And that song, whose author is, of course, anonymous, or simply lost in time, was originally a Breton lay, as they call it. And a lay is a song which tells a story and enforces a moral at the end of it. And this particular song is called Le Voir Amoureux, which effectively is a love potion. And it's all about these 2 lovers who took it, and it's 14th century Viagra. It did the job, obviously, because the young man wrote about it afterwards. Anyway, that's for them. This is a little poem simply called Becoming. C'est honte. À marcher parmi les fleurs sous le puits, dans votre jardin. Dans vos doigts, une lettre débordante des promesses, un poste, une jeune femme. Mais les murs, les arbres conspirent contre ces petites grandes choses. Votre cœur est un braconnier dans les haies, ces petites grandes choses perdues. Là où je fuis dans la mer, les bois qui n'apprennent ta mer, amour du ciel, voir en ma mer, qui m'a fait de l'eau.
This is the absolute fact. I just happen to have been born here. The object of the sentence is the person or thing affected by the action of the verb. I am the object. And I have been treated as such. My birth certificate is a warehouse receipt. The objective of the sentence was to illustrate exactly how random and meaningless the geography of my birth truly is. I have been coloured green, but not with envy. Jaded, this tricolour has chained me, denominated, dominated. My nationality makes me a detainee. I, the object, am the commodity, not my multifacets, my strangeness, and my oddity. Every Irish parish is a conveyor belt, assembling Irish warriors, saint scholars, and Celts.